Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 6 of the anime series Arslan Senki TV, Fuujin Ranbu. And my god, after the tail end of the previous episode, where we basically got a sort of, flash forward, a sneak peek of what was going to be almost the culmination of this episode, with the Princess Irina being very nearly burned at the stake, and Etoile, or I guess her name is actually pronounced Etoile, being set up as a patsy for the, attempted assassination of Innocentus by Giscard. I was just appalled by that already, and we get throughout the course of this entire episode what built up to that flash forward, seeing the motions that everyone was going through. Etoile had been basically, ordered by Innocentus, who was like peeking out his window as much as he could fit of himself through the damn window, looking for help. He was being held against his will, and by Giscard's men, and basically had commanded Etoile to go and confront Giscard and find out what's going on. He was assured that his own brother would not let this happen. If he had any idea that they were trying to hold him and keep him captive, he would, probably punish those soldiers who were doing that and all this kind of stuff. Very much the wool was pulled over his eyes, and it got that much more uncomfortable and despicable to me as Giscard's plan unfolds. Effectively they're using Etoile to lead Irina to him because she made a jab at Giscard when he encountered her, basically before the death of her family and everything like that. They were all, burned alive, and even her elder sister, they had just managed to escape and get to another kingdom or another city, whatever it was, and she sacrificed her own life for Irina to be able to escape. And here she is, she just wants sort of vengeance for all the losses she suffered, and Giscard is going to exploit this notion because she's blind and she can't make a killing blow. She can't even make a a strike enough that Giscard can't stop effectively, can't rebound against. So he's going to effectively exploit this notion and have her try to kill Innocentus, who's basically only saved by how much actual fat is on his body. It's just, when that whole sequence is happening, once Etoile has led Innocentus to Irina and she's going to stab him, she slices out his face when he's screaming and crying. I mean, this is a character who is, it's funny that he's called Innocentus, because in a sense he is innocent. He is sort of, I don't want to say dumb, or like, maybe suffering from mental retardation. He's slower than Giscard. He's perhaps not as smart, but, and he's somewhat of a simpleton, so that when he's scrambling and scratching at the door and trying to get free, and Giscard's, guards have basically taken Etoile out and trying to assure that Irina will get the chance she needs to stab him and all this kind of stuff, like, his screaming and crying, I was gritting my teeth. I was cringing at this entire affair as it was unfolding. And of course she does stab him, and he's trying to fend her off. She manages to pierce what appears to be his chest. It might have been his belly. And we find that even after all this, he's still, it wasn't a lethal wound. So I was kind of relieved at that they didn't successfully murder him. And Giscard is left, as this despicable villain to cringe over this revelation. So then he's got to, in order to basically pull the wool over everyone else's eyes as well, he's got to have, Irina put to death as an attempted assassin, and Etoile, who led her to it, and basically making them look like they're working in tandem, that kind of thing. And it was astounding to me because, of course, you have Alfred's brother, who manages to escape the cell that he and, the compatriots of Irina are being held in. And you're thinking he's going to be the one to save the day. And the whole time I'm thinking, it would just be all kinds of awesome if Hermes Silver Mask showed up in the nick of time to save Irina. You know, like he still cares for her. Maybe calling back, because of course we see her calling back to those memories of old, and she still has feelings for him in a manner of speaking. So it would have been awesome, you know, if it wasn't just Alfred's brother saving the day. And of course, right when I'm about to call it all bets are off, there is going to be no Silver Mask. Who the hell shows up but Silver Mask and his entire army, as Irina is tied to the stake. They're about to set her aflame. Etoile, of course, is being commanded to admit her guilt, guilt in something she did not have any part in, you know, the assassination attempt on Innocentus. And booyah, man. I mean, you even have Alfred's brother firing an arrow at somebody who was coming up behind Silver Mask when he's untying Irina and everything like that. It was just all kinds of awesome, and it harkens back to episodes back now when we had that flashback, that initial flashback between Hermes and Irina, where I was saying what might have been. You know, it was such a shame that they could have had a great life. They could have been together. They could have been happy with each other. And there's some part of that comes calling by the end for him to run in as the cavalry and save her life. And, you know, even Alfred's brother grabs Etoile and gets her the hell out of there as well. I just loved it. I loved the whole idea of, you know, all of this stuff, all of this despicable, cringeworthy, you know, almost table flip worthy stuff going on. Having Irina set to die, having Etoile set to die for things they didn't commit. Guiscard practically getting away with, you know, forming this assassination against his brother just because of his being greedy and power hungry. I was ready to be like, damn it, you know, I'm not watching any more of this. And like, to have that finally come in the end and have it be Hermes. I mean, here is a character who, as I've spoken about before, is largely played up to be a villain in this series, and here he is a hero. And there's much more depth and you know, pathos going on with his character as we've had revealed in this season. And it was just awesome sauce. It does lead me to really wonder, with only 2 episodes left, how are they going to wrap this all up? Because, of course, by the end we have the hint that Etoile is going to follow Alfred's brother to try to reunite with Arslan and everything like that. And I love how he's like, oh, did Alfred try to, like, you know, seduce him with her womanly charms? I don't buy it, you know, as far as why she's with Arslan in the first place. And, you know, then, of course, we have the pirate captain telling Arslan's people that there is, like, you know, 100 million or whatever it is gold pieces nearby on a nearby island, just a treasure of maximum amount, that Guive's eyes practically burst out of his skull when he hears Varangi's notes. And of course, who do we have lurking in the shadows but Mr. Shagad himself? You know, really just another despicable character in this world, overhearing all of it. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to wrap all of this up in 2 more episodes, being, you know, to round out the 8 of this season. I don't know if we're going to get another season after this. I don't know if there's going to be a movie. I'm not exactly sure. You're going to have to play a video game to find out the rest of the story. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I do hope we get some sense of closure, and I do hope we get to see some kind of success here. I mean, is Arslan and Posse going to go collect this gold? And I'm sure they will not do it without running into some kind of trouble with Shagad overhearing it and everything like that. But would this be enough to basically return to Andragoras and say, here, we're going to take out back Ekbatan and all this stuff? Will Arslan get that gold and decide to go form a kingdom of his own somewhere and say, you know, F Daddy Dearest and F the people? You know, I doubt he would leave the people behind in that way, shape, or form. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do for the last couple of episodes here, and whether or not we'll have a confrontation again between Arslan and, you know, Hermes. I mean, that's the big sort of end-all, be-all, isn't it? Unless, of course, and this kind of, I feel like it's a hope against hope, but I would love to see Arslan and Hermes form a bond of sorts and work together against Andragoras, even, and Guiscard. and, you know, sort of a unification of their powers, their mutual powers, to take down the true evil that they seem to keep encountering at every turn. So maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm, you know, pulling at straws, and I have no idea if that's going to be anything. You know, I'm just speculating if that's going to be anything near what's actually going to happen. But I can't wait to see. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 6 of Arslan Senki TV, Fuujin Ranbu, if you enjoyed it, if you were just gritting your teeth as much as I was all throughout the course of this episode, with Giscard having his way with Etoile and Irina, and, you know, ready to, like, fist pump and cheer when Silver Mask and his people came in at the end to save them and everything like that, and Alfred's brother. And, so yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.